I've got no words. The only thing I can say is, what an amazing comeback. You may want to watch this video in reverse to maybe hear some coherence by the end of it, and maybe we're probably going to talk about the end first and the beginning later. But what a sensational comeback by Oxford United. Realistically, you felt we needed to win 3 games in a row to get back into the playoff mix. It didn't look like it was going to happen, but out of nowhere, a brilliant last 15-20 minutes turned round a terrible performance and result into a dramatic victory. It ended Oxford United 3, Gillingham 2, and Oxford are in the playoffs.
Yeah, Ian, absolutely insane game. I don't really know how to do this. Talk about the first half quickly, because it's really the second half is where the match is at.
First half was poor. First half was poor from both sides. Very frustrating. The feature of the afternoon was how this is not derogatory towards Gillingham at all. This is the way they play. They play direct football. They play on the counter-attack. And Oxford, unfortunately, got dragged down to that level rather than playing the good football they played against Shrewsbury and against Crewe. And it was a frustrating as hell watch. And you felt like eventually Oxford were going to get undone by one of these long balls into the box, and they did. It's a constant barrage that they put you under pressure from minute one. Oliver's done really well from a long throwing. He's won the initial ball from about 3 players marking him. It manages to come back to him in a bit of space, and he's produced a quality finish into the bottom corner. Up to that point, Oxford barely had a kick. They were reactionary from that point and ended the second half on somewhat of a strong note, at least getting into some good areas. But a very, very frustrating first half, and it felt like Oxford had a bit of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, it was disappointment and disillusionment at halftime. The fans on the channel weren't happy with what they were seeing. You weren't happy with what you were seeing. But we've seen Oxford United in the last couple of games not start well and manage to win. Unfortunately, the beginning of the second half didn't make you think that was going to be possible, did it?
Well, I mean, both sides kind of had their chances in the game in the second half. It was more of an open game in the second half as Oxford pushed on to try and get the victory. It plays into Gillingham's hands, them being in the lead, because they are a very, very good counter-attacking side, as well as being good from set pieces. So they caused problems as Oxford probed and tried to put more bodies forward. You just felt at 1-0 Oxford had a chance, but you felt if Gillingham got a second, that it would be game over. And unfortunately for Oxford, on 72 minutes, so late into this one, Gillingham did get that second goal. Again, it's from a ball into the box, which Oxford failed to clear. Gillingham keep it alive. Players just making intelligent runs. Players just making like the right decisions. A winger gets into the box. He's got space, plays it across to Cundy, and he's got to tap in from about 3 or 4 yards from himself, just making a simple run through the middle unmarked. At that point, you felt Oxford have got no chance of getting back into this one, Tom. It looked like shades of Blackpool.
It looked over.
It looked like another false dawn. It looked like we'd be talking about missed opportunities, disappointing team selections. But thankfully, we get to talk about something a bit more enjoyable.
That's right. So this is only a couple minutes after I think the goal goes in. Everyone's given in. The chat's gone a bit quiet. I start talking about the City versus Chelsea game. And then cometh the hour, cometh the Shamrock Longer.
Yes, but we'll get to Shamrock. But first, we have to talk about Sam Winnall. Robinson did make a couple of good substitutions in this one. Winnall and Adji coming on did change the dimension of the way Oxford played, and they were able to hold the ball up better. But this goal, again, came a bit out of nowhere, as all of Oxford goals did. Winnall actually found some space on the edge of the box from a throw-in, and he hit a low shot. And for the first time all game, a Gillingham player didn't get his body in front of it, and it nestled into the bottom corner. It's a free kick. It's throw-in to Oxford deep in the Gillingham. But I think Gillingham, if Gillingham... I'd be more than happy. I think they're more than happy to just give Oxford all the corners and all the free kicks that they want. I think they'll back themselves to defend that all day long. Right, chance. 2-1! Great finish. Great finish. I think that it didn't seem like it was going to happen, but Oxford had that lifeline pretty quickly, which meant they were able to set up a grand stand finish, Thomas. It was very nip and tuck in the game. You felt it felt like it was going to be one of those ones where Oxford had to remain patient and Oxford had to try and work their way into goal scoring positions, but they ended up getting two very unlike Oxford United goals. The first one was a really from crosses that had no right to be scored from, almost. Maybe the second one's a little bit harsh on Brannigan, but the first one is just a real aimless cross from my point of view. It's one of those just long looping balls to the back post. It's one of those ones where you're not really looking to pick anyone out. You're just trying to get a ball into an area. It's not normally Oxford's strengths, but coming in at the back post, Sam Long, Mr. Oxford United, the player of the season, the man you can always seem to rely on in a crisis, the man who's getting better with age, like a fine wine, like a fine mouldy cheese, arrived at the back post to produce a beautiful header into the top corner. And delirium from me. Delirium will probably put my reactions in to this one because it'll be good viewing. Delirium from
so
me,
good.
delirium from the chat. And then ultimately your thoughts went to, can we win it? And also in the back of my mind, oh fuck, please don't blow it. In one in there, and the goal!
Come on, boys!
What an unbelievable comeback. I've gone lightheaded. I'm sorry. I've gone a bit dizzy there shouting goal.
Ian, I don't think they did blow it, did they?
No. Obviously, Gillingham continued to look dangerous every time they went forward from these set pieces. That they're a bloody handful, and they proved it right until the end of the game. But it was Oxford who got that third goal, and it was Sam Long again. Oxford kept the ball alive from a corner. It came out to Brannigan, who was able to cross from a more central area. It's a really good whipped-in ball to the back post, but again, it's not the sort of goal you see Oxford United score from. And Sam Long's made another great run in at the back post, this time to get there ahead of the left back and score with his feet instead of his head, and he's tucked it into the bottom corner to produce an unlikely victory for Oxford. Another chance for Oxford to get the ball in. That's a good ball. And it's in! It's Sam Long again! Unbelievable! What the freaking hell?
3-2, baby!
Wow!
Woo!
Unbelievable scenes.
Absolutely buzzing. This victory puts them over Portsmouth. Pompey drop out of the playoff places. Oxford move into it. They have played a game more, but it doesn't matter. I think every Oxford fan will be celebrating this result right now. Ian, at 2-0 down, playoff picture done, season's over, we've blown it, 3-2 win. How does the end of the season now look to you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. A loss today, and you'd have thought it's not technically all over, but you would have felt Oxford have got no margin for error and they'd have to win all 4 of those games, and then they still might not have even got in there. Now it looks a very different picture. I know teams have got games in hand, but we've got 4 games now. We've got Wimbledon, we've got Shrewsbury, we've got Plymouth, we've got Burton. I'm not saying we'll win them all, but they're a damn sight more winnable than if you had the likes of Hull, Peterborough, Sunderland, Charlton, Blackpool to play. So on paper, very confident. But on paper, buzzing. And at the moment, it seems like it's going to be, after you have a result like that, like what we did against Shrewsbury last year as well, which was like the last game before lockdown, which got us into the playoffs, which was a come from behind victory from 2-0 down. You start to feel like it might be your year to end in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think we agreed at the beginning of the season Oxford were a playoff team. They sputtered multiple times. They're back in it. I'm going to leave you to take us out and give your final thoughts on this game, Ian Allen.
Right, we're all going to be buzzing and we're all going to be delighted at this comeback. It's a sensational comeback. It's not very often you are 2-0 down and you come back to win 3-2. So from that point of view, absolutely delighted and enjoy it, Oxford fans. Just go out and enjoy this Saturday night and just be proud of your side that they produced a great comeback victory and that we are in the playoffs. Oxford need to be careful about how they start games. They need to be careful about how they get dragged into playing a game they don't want to play. We're very much a side that likes to control possession. We're very much a side that likes to play on a press, turn the ball over high and create chances from that. We're not a side that can play drawn into a long ball game. We're not a side that can be drawn into playing a direct, I don't say ugly, but I can't think of another word, ugly style game, which is what Gillingham wanted today, and it's what the game was for pretty much until Oxford just managed to sometimes wrestle the initiative away from them. If there's any Gillingham fans out there, I'd be fascinated to know your take on the game. It felt like it was a really good game plan by you guys, which just unbelievably came undone. So Oxford have got to be careful about that, but we can think about that on another day. This is all about the great victory. Fantastic result. Thomas, I'll leave it to you to do the likes and all that. I'm done. I'm off to enjoy myself.
Right. All that's left for me to do is thank our Patreon subscribers. Thank you to William Golder. He's brand new. He's finally following us. Thank you so much, Will. Even though you haven't signed up for the correct membership, we always give a shout out to our new members. Obviously, Gil Tom signed up last week, but then we've got David Stenhouse, PJ Simpson, Matt Bowden, Robert Allen, and Grandstand Betters, Matt Uranka. Thank you so much to all of you. It means the world when you show us this level of support. It helps us out immeasurably. Also, thank you to everyone who watched the live stream. Thank you to everyone who liked, commented. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you haven't already liked this video, please like it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to this. If you haven't given us your thoughts about this match, there is a plethora of space below. We want to hear everything you think about this game. We will see you next week. Come on, you Yellows.